I don't play no Beyonce records. It's not because of Jay and the problems we have. It's because of the respect I got for him. You understand what I'm saying? So last time I saw Jay and Beyonce, that was Shaka's party. I ran into her. We talked and I said, "There's Rachel right over there, and go right over there." I don't want that. I don't even want her to have the chance to like me because it's hard not to. I'm not gonna say she do or don't.
Defamation of character, the whole 9 yards. So Jay gonna have to say, "I didn't write that, my lawyer wrote that." But he came out like saying that he wrote it, like he was doing that. So he got him a defamation defamation. I think Tony Buzzer got a defamation lawsuit against him right now. Against his character, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards.
For black men and women, you know, to see a different outcome, like you were saying. It's not this celebrity couple. We were never a celebrity couple. We were a couple who just happened to be celebrities.
That's beautiful.
Like real people.
Hip-hop history is filled with powerful partnerships. Some of them make history together, while others eventually crumble under the weight of fame, money, and pride. Few stories capture this as vividly as the rise and fall of Rockefeller Records. Led by Jay-Z and Dame Dash, these two men started as brothers in business. They moved like family, building an empire that shaped the culture of the late 90s and early 2000s. But along the way, whispers started to spread. Whispers not just about business deals or industry politics, but about something much more personal. About Dame Dash allegedly getting too close to Beyoncé at a time when she was beginning her relationship with Jay-Z. Did Jay really confront Dame about crossing the line? Did that moment help speed up the collapse of their empire? Today, we are going to break it all down on how loyalty, love, and ego collided inside Rockefeller and why Jay-Z and Dame Dash's brotherhood never recovered.
Is there any truth to you trying to talk to Beyonce while she was with Jay?
Nah. You know, I like Willie D a lot, and I was surprised that he had someone that's not credible on his show like that. But some things that he says are true, but everybody knows. But like the things he says, like intimate, he's not a Rockefeller specialist. We never respected him as a Rockefeller. He was never any of our friends. None of that. He was just a hired employee like the hundreds of people that have done that. He just happened to be getting content. Like I said, whenever you talk to someone that was said that they would know everything because they taped everything and you took all the footage, show it. Back it up. Pause. You know what I mean? But I would never try to talk to another man's wife. Before that I ran into it once, and I think I got a number at this Victoria's Secret show, but to me, she was like a little girl. So I was going after Giselle. You know, I wasn't going it was like Giselle, everybody, and Naomi Campbell was a lot of people that she hadn't realized the potential yet. But it was because I honestly was like, I'll call you to talk to you. But that was like a year or two before all, you know, that she wasn't, she was probably like almost, like she was, I don't want to say this because it'll trigger too much shit, so, but I never tried to talk to her after that. Well, I would never, you know, we're rock stars, so yes, definitely, it wasn't like I never looked at one of his girls and said, I'm gonna smash her. That never happened. Once he would hit the chick, then I'm not fucking with her. But before, we would go hard. But he would do that a lot. Like, you know, girls, you know, again, I'll put Twitter in the book. You know, but I never chased his chicks, but sometimes if there was a choice, they would choose me a lot. And sometimes they would choose him. But I you know, Aaliyah hadn't, if he would have touched her physically at all, you know, any penetration or anything like that, then I could have never wifed her. That would have never, I'm not a guy that's ever gonna wife a girl that my friends, I'm not ever gonna do that. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't do that. I can't walk in the room and they got that connection, never. So the only reason why we were both going at her, but she chose me. That's all. But it wasn't like I was trying to take his girl. I mean, he might have had PTSD because of that, which I'm sure he did. You know, I can't help how a girl feels, but you know, I wouldn't. He knows I would never do that. You know, I don't even listen to Beyonce records because I don't want to fuck her. I don't want to see her shake her body. Even though Jay, I still consider him my brother. I don't even really know what she looks like. You understand what I'm saying? I don't really look at her. I don't listen to her music. To me, her music portrays her and the way that she dances and stuff puts her in a light. So I feel funny looking at it. I can't even really, I don't play no Beyoncé records. It's not because of Jay and the problems we have. It's because of the respect I got for her. You understand what I'm saying? So last time I saw Jay and Beyoncé, that was Shaka's party. I ran into her, we talked, and I said, there's Rachel right over there, and go right over there. I don't want that. I don't even want her to have the chance to like me because it's hard not to. I'm not gonna say she do or don't, but I don't even want that. I don't want I've had connections with other people's girls and I'd be like, you know better than that, and walk off. We'll get the eye, let's stop talking because you know homeboy's gonna go crazy, let's go. And I'm not gonna say who that is. But it's happened that I've said no to other niggas' wives a lot that I respect, that everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do that. And to niggas' daughters. Like your daughter, I get really offended when I hear that certain niggas, and you know who you are, have ran up in my daughter's DM. And I'm like, damn, that nigga is so crazy. I'm like, that nigga knew you was a baby. And I'm gonna step to that nigga when I see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know that's my daughter. Like, either way, out of respect, bro. I know it's my daughter. But you already know what you're gonna do. I know, I tell me and my daughter got the best, I tell her everything. All these niggas do wanna fucking tell everybody. Do not do it. Only with somebody that really loves you, make him earn. And once he does that, he's responsible for your bills, because I did that for your mother. Fuck all that.
In the mid-1990s, Jay-Z wasn't the global icon we know today. Back then, he was a talented rapper struggling to get noticed. Major labels weren't lining up to sign him. The industry didn't know if he had what it took to sell records. But Dame Dash believed in Jay when almost nobody else did. Along with Kareem Bigsburg, the three of them created Rockefeller Records. This wasn't just a label. It was a last shot. If no one else was going to give Jay a deal, they were going to do it themselves. Their first big step came in 1996 with the release of Reasonable Doubt. Thanks to a distribution deal with Priority Records, the album hit the streets, featuring guests like,
I don't even know how good she looks. I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? I could see what she's doing, and it's enough to turn away. Like, I'd be like, oh no, I don't want to see her butt. I want to see it, man. I don't want to see it. I don't know how he deals with that, but that's on him. That's just not me. That was an issue I was having with Aaliyah. Like, at the time, it was like I wasn't trying to be in love with a girl that's gonna be doing kissing scenes and be in the studio with a nigga. No, I don't want that for me. I want you with me all the time. A nigga that's gonna be with you in the room for 12 hours will definitely fall in love. I did. So why would I want to put you, I was doing everything I can, like, yo, let me get your shit right so you don't have to be around nobody or leave Australia for 4 months and do kissing scenes with niggas. I didn't like that shit at all. That's what, I don't know what would have happened. And that's what's great about that situation is we never got to get to an argument. All I can remember is the golden times. But usually a long-term relationship has some dark times. I just never had any with her because we didn't get that long terms. The years we were together, she was on the road and doing movies a lot. But we were really in love. And yeah, she was the coolest.
And speaking of Aaliyah, that's another rumor that's been going around for a while too. And I hate to even ask you about this, but I'm sure you've been saying the same thing. It's been a rumor going around about that, about how she was with Jay first and you took her from Jay.
He was talking to her, but I didn't know. He's sneaky, so I didn't know. So when I was talking to her, she was like, how's Jay? And so she said, like, he must have tried it too. So it wasn't like I knew, I didn't know. Like with Beyonce, it was some sneaky shit. That nigga flew to LA and stood, and it was, you know, he's slick, pause, he's cunning. So you never really know what Jay, you don't know who Jay's cunning. The way he pulled Beyonce was cunning. Real cunning. But that's his business, I ain't know. So let me just say this, you see how you say you see how you say it's going around the internet? That's why I have to speak on certain things, or else it'll stay going around the internet and people will believe it, and it does affect my business. But if you're not a boss, you don't understand that. That's the reason why you see the dude from Apple, before he died, he said his truth, because he knew algorithms. What's his name, Steve Jobs? You see Elon Musk speaks a lot. Because the reason why you didn't speak before is because there wasn't an internet, there wasn't an algorithm, there wasn't social media. So now you have to approach business a little different. You have to be able to adjust. There's different weapons out there and there's different ways to fight them. These people that do certain things, they know about clipping, I know all the tricks, I just don't do them.
Along with this, if you notice the comments in the video shown before, people have even called out Dame for stuttering and even answering for so long that it is pretty sure Dame is lying. Anyways, by 1998, everything changed. Jay-Z released Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, and it blew up. The single Hard Knock Life ghetto anthem became one of the biggest songs of the year. Rockefeller went from being an underdog independent label to a powerhouse that could compete with anyone. Between 1998 and 2003, Rockefeller dominated. Jay-Z was dropping hit after hit. Artists like Beanie Sigel, Cameron, and Kanye West were part of the roster. Rockaware, their clothing line, turned into a fashion movement. Rock Films produced street classics like Paid in Full and Paper Soldiers.
The way you spelled the name too, so, America knew how you put me and you. Yeah, I like that, man. And speaking of movies, right? So you was behind all the movies at Rockefeller.
Every single thing that happened in Rockefeller was basically my idea. But yeah, Homeboy did his job, he rapped.
How did State Property come?
Well, that's my motto for music. If you want to break a record, I just looked at who was the most successful. So, whether you like it or not, Elvis was one of the most successful. And the same time Elvis was the #1 rock and roll artist, he was the #1 actor. You look at Prince, Purple Rain, right? You look at Diana Ross, she made movies. The ones and the artists that you remember are the ones that made movies. That's how you break, any group. So Rockefeller, we broke with, because we were in trouble until Streets is Watching. You know what I'm saying? Big trouble. And, when State Property, I gave him the name State Property because they were always in jail. Every one of them, except Freeway, always had a case. So we like, we might as well just call y'all State Property. And it was about making a movie, and in the movie, putting all the crew in there, putting all the clothes, it was based, it was inspired by things and true events that had actually happened, but then it got completely exaggerated and turned into straight fiction. And then we made a soundtrack, and I put, the way I looked at it was, because every artist, had a budget, but if I could do one project and put all the artists on it, it wouldn't come out their budget, it would be a new budget, and whichever record or single from that soundtrack kicked off, that would be the artist that would come out first. That would dictate, who we would put our attention on, because you couldn't work all these different records at one time. It's just too much money on the street and not enough resources and not enough manpower. And what came out of that, I think, was Chris and Neef, their single. Well, it was a bunch of stuff. But it was like a way I could make videos without, taking it out of their budgets.
So the Streets is Watching was your idea?
Come on, bro. Yeah, of course. Yeah, what happened there was, and again, look at the receipts. For some reason, Homeboy wanted to be, and I hate to say this now, but Puff was killing him, right? He was killing him is when Biggie died. And on another note, I was in the studio when Source Money wrote Every Step You Take, because Puff started to try to pay the artist on Rockefeller and State Property to come write for him. And I wouldn't let any of them go over there without me, because I didn't want them to be influenced by whatever was going on over there. So I was like, I'm going over there. I would never let them go over there without me. And I would make sure I negotiated all their deals. So anyway, Puff was rolling. I remember running into Mace right before he did that video with the red shiny suit on. And I'm teasing him like, yo, what are you doing with a red shiny suit on? And he was tight, like, man, Puff got me doing this. And I'm like, yo, what happened to Mace Mussolini? But that worked.
They weren't just making music, they were shaping culture. Everywhere you looked, Rockefeller was there. And at the center of it all was Jay-Z as the face, with Dame Dash as the voice that kept pushing the empire forward. On the surface, everything looked unstoppable, but behind the scenes, cracks were starting to form. As Rockefeller grew bigger, so did the personalities involved. Dame Dash was known for being outspoken, flashy, and sometimes reckless. He carried himself like the loud, untouchable boss in every room. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was more quiet, strategic, and calculated. And then came Beyoncé. She and Jay first met between 1999 and 2000 when she was about 18 years old and still part of Destiny's Child. They didn't immediately start dating. Beyoncé would later say they were friends for over a year before they even went out. They spent long hours on the phone, building a foundation of trust. By 2001 and 2002, their chemistry was undeniable. They were seen together at events. They recorded 03 Bonnie and Clyde, and Beyoncé's solo debut, Crazy in Love, in 2003 featured Jay on the track. The music videos, the performances, the sparks were clear. Fans were already piecing together what was going on. Even if the couple hadn't fully gone public.
It was just me and Jay. It wasn't like we was running with a crew or none of that. We were just gonna be like, yo, what's up? That's all. It wasn't like, he was talking about us. We wasn't talking about him. So, he was coming into New York and we were probably gonna be in the same place. So it was like, obviously we knew we were gonna run into him. So we were like, yo, we might as well get to him before he get to us. So we were just trying to see like, yo, what was it, we were just trying to see what his temperature was. Is this rap or what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Why did Jay redo Pac, Me and My Girlfriend, knowing that him and Pac wasn't, on good terms?
I have no idea. Because he had a girlfriend. To me, that was his introduction. That he wanted everybody to know that homegirl was his girlfriend. That's how I looked at it. But I wasn't at that point. I wasn't around him that much. Like when that record came out, I was in Europe. I watched the rough cut from like Paris or something. Like at that once homegirl got in the picture, our relationship had evaporated. It was already gone. Like I said, he wasn't talking to Biggs for like a year. Him and Biggs weren't talking for like 2 years or a year before that. It might have been like 2 years they wasn't talking. It was crazy. What album was that on, Me and My Girlfriend?
The Gift and the Curse.
I wasn't nowhere near him for that. I don't even remember that album. I don't even know a record on that album. I was out. Like, after the Blueprint, I didn't even pay attention to the Black album. I was gone. Blueprint, I would say, was like the last album that I was any part of. I mean, I think after that, a lot of the essence of Rockefeller was talking about our friendship. Once our friendship was over, there wasn't any more friendship to talk about. And, I had no interest in what he was saying.